being joined from the United Kingdom by Dr. Charles Omole. He's a lawyer and a police and national security expert. Thank you so much, Dr. Omole, for joining us tonight on the program. Let me ask what your take is and what you have observed, especially coming from three governors that we have seen now: Kano State Governor, Bauchi State Governor, and Cross River State Governor. They are particular about public gathering. They say they've gotten the advice and they are lifting ban, at least for prayers or for other purposes. What's your take?
Thanks, Seun. Thanks for having me. Well, the first thing that I need to make clear is that under the Quarantine Act, which is our current law, only the president can exercise powers to control activities relating to any pandemic. Even the Section 8 of that act that allows governors to step in if president doesn't act, it's still clear from Section 8 that they are more or less, acting on delegated powers. So they're using presidential powers. So it has to be clear, therefore, that the federal government has primacy in terms of control of activities that has to do with pandemic. That's number one. Now, the governors that are giving contrary opinion, in my view, there are four possible reasons why governors are doing this. Number one, some governors may not believe COVID is actually real. Therefore, they can't say that in public. Therefore, their actions is speaking for them. Number two, there may be some governors who actually want to expose their people to herd immunity deliberately. They believe in COVID, but they want, herd immunity in their state. Again, they're not being open about that. So they are allowing people to get infected and developing the appropriate immunity, as the case may be. Of course, many will die. The third reason why some governors might be doing this is sheer politics. They are playing politics with this. They are giving people what they want, even though it's not in the interest of the people. And of course, the fourth reason why governors might be doing this is that some of them want infection in their state to actually go up so that they can use that as financial tool to bargain with federal government. Now, I'm not quite sure which any of the governors fall into. But the key point here about the governors giving contrary opinion to the federal government is the fact that there potentially will be spike in those states, where this has happened. But it's a failure of politics. And in my view, when politics fail, the only solution is more politics.
Dr. Omole, let me get your view on this. We are in a federal system of government where federated units also have their powers. Are you saying in this regard, state governors do not have the prerogative whatsoever in giving an order based on their local situation?
Under the Quarantine Act, which is the enabling law, even the governors that, like Lagos and others, that acted before the president spoke, they issued regulations under the Quarantine Act. So this Quarantine Act that's being used. Under that, Section 3 makes it clear this is a presidential power. Section 4 explains what the regulations should be. And then Section 8 says in case the president doesn't act, governors can exercise the presidential power. So it doesn't mean the governors have the power inherently. It's still a presidential power the governors are exercising. So, in this case, let's be frank, this is politics. One phone call from President Buhari, the governors will reverse their position. So really, if this is pure politics they're playing, they are being popular, they are giving people what they want, even though it might be to the detriment of the people.
Dr. Omole, another issue that I'm looking at is that three governors have taken that decision. We might see a growing number of in that regard. Should this happen, and we've seen the kind of frustration that is being exhibited or expressed by the powers at the center, should it continue? Can the power at the center prevail by some powers on the state or the federating units?
Well, yes and no. As in, yes, the federal government always have leverage, in terms of over governors. Federal government can do that from an institutional level in terms of security apparatus. The federal government can do that from a financial level in terms of the finances they give to the states. Federal government can do that on a political level because most of these governors are in the same party as Mr. President. So they can actually solve this problem politically as well. So there's a lot of leverage that the federal government have to bring to bear on governors to comply in this instance. You see, the reason why this is federal power is this. When somebody is infectious or infected with an infectious disease, the infection doesn't stop at the border of your state. So it cannot just be a state affair, because people will cross from one state to the other and carry the infection around. Even in everywhere in the world, like somewhere like the United States, anytime there's an infringement that crosses state borders, that becomes a federal jurisdiction. So in Nigeria, it's the same. So it cannot just be a state affair unless the governor can assure Nigerians that all the residents of Kano will never leave Kano.
Thank you indeed, Doctor. It's good to see you again. Thank you so much for coming in. That's our show for tonight, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm Sean Kimbale. Bye for now.